Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head over the water to Amager in Copenhagen once again, one of my favourite breweries in Europe at the moment, and we have another beer from their collaboration series, but it's a bit different from the ones I've done previously. So we're going to have a taste of the Granny with a Gun tonight, which is an Australian IPA, and it comes in at 6%. This one is brewed in collaboration with Edge Brewing Project from Melbourne in Victoria down in Australia. It's got Ella and Galaxy hops in it, and it comes in at 6%. It was rated 94 overall on Rate Beer and 93 within the style. Now, Edge Brewing was actually a brewery that I didn't get to try when I was down in Australia. It was quite hard to find their stuff actually. I did hear of them and heard that they were producing some nice stuff, but I never actually got the chance to try any other things while I was down there, and it's quite difficult actually to get Australian beers up here in Europe, so hopefully that starts to turn around soon. And of course there's a big hop market going on down there. There's a lot of experimentation with hops going on in Australia at the moment, so I think there's a big future for Australian craft beer, so I'm sure we'll enjoy this one as well, because we know Amager do some pretty damn good IPAs. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the breweries involved here. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery websites, a link to my other reviews from Amager, and a link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Edge Brewing in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. The whole channel has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city or state, whatever you're interested in. There's playlists of the beers from different countries as well, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and your support of the channel is hugely appreciated. And do please recommend some other Australian beers and breweries that you guys would like me to have a look at, and do check out the other Australian reviews I've done already. But anyway, to tell you a little bit about Amager Bryghus first off. So these guys are based in Kastrup in Copenhagen in Denmark, and they're probably one of the best known Danish craft breweries outside of the likes of Toel and Mikkeller these days. But the brewery were founded in April 2007 by two young friends, Morten Valentin Lundsbach and Jakob Storm, both of whom were quite avid homebrewers, and apparently in school the pair were forced to do a chemistry and physics project together, so they actually wrote about the fermentation process of beer, and this one really kind of sent them on the spiral towards becoming craft brewers. And of course they're pretty damn good at it these days actually. But the brewery are located in Tornbo in the southern part of the city, and they've been constantly expanding over the last few years as well. These beers are quite widely available throughout Scandinavia, and they are constantly building their export markets as well. Pretty much with this brewery, I would say you can pick a style that you personally enjoy and just try one of the beers that Amager have produced, and I'm pretty sure you will enjoy it. I've never had a bad beer from these guys, and they're probably one of my favourite craft breweries in Europe at the moment. So if you get the chance to try some Amager beers, I highly recommend that you do. The IPAs they're particularly well known for, but the dark beers I've had from them as well have been pretty damn good. So yeah, on to Edge Brewing Project. So Edge Brewing Project are based in Melbourne in Victoria, Australia, and this company was founded back in 2013 by Adam Betts of Northdown Craft Beer and Christian Skovdal Andersen, who is from Beer here in Denmark, who actually are based in Bornholm these days. But the company was then taken over wholly by Adam in 2014, and they now have a custom built 50-litre brew kit which they use to create pilot batches, and in the early days these were actually brewed at local breweries in the Melbourne area if they were to be scaled up for commercialisation. But they now have their own brewery and they have a permanent range as of 2015, and they're now exporting their beers as well, which is pretty cool. So if you do get the chance, try some Edge Brewing Project beers. As I said, this is my very first encounter with these guys, and I think when I was in Australia, which was back in 2014 if I'm not mistaken, or 2015 actually, these guys were really just kind of finding their feet, I guess. And Victoria and Western Australia, of course, are the big beer hubs. Perth and Melbourne really are where a lot of these things are popping up, but other breweries are popping up all over the place as well. Australia's got some really nice hops, and there's a lot of experimentation going on with that down there too. So yeah, if you get the chance to try some Edge Brewing Project beers, I highly recommend you do. And Australia is a really kind of growing craft beer market at the moment as well, so do keep an eye on that and let me know what other beers and breweries I should be trying from Australia, and hopefully we get more of them up here in Europe, because it can be very difficult to find them. But anyway, that's enough about the breweries just now. Let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself. So I'll just read the blurb, as I always like to do with Amager. So this one says on the side, 83-year-old Bonnie Ramsbottom from the Melbourne suburb of Sunshine was brought up never to take the law into her own hands. However, circumstances would soon make her do exactly that. One Tuesday afternoon, returning from her weekly game of bowls, she found her 11-week-old Apple Pincher pup lying on her back porch, bleeding from the rectum with a roll of gaffer tape next to it. The wee doggy was clearly dead. Tears fought with feelings of revenge. The latter won. Miss Ramsbottom had a clear idea of who the villains behind this beastly deed were, and the 2 street punks she had recently reported to the police for pushing little white pills to underage school kids. A suspicion that was immediately confirmed when she encountered the 2 culprits in their usual spot on the street. They grinningly greeted her with, "So how's your puppy doing?" Miss Ramsbottom's reply was swift. With the Wembley revolver her Anzac dad had left behind, she placed 2 very precise rounds exactly where it hurts a man the most, leaving the punks in enunciating pain on the sidewalk, yet alive. Then she calmly walked away and turned herself in. Months later, local citizens who saw her as a neighbourhood heroine suggested raising a statue named Granny with a Gun, a suggestion Mrs. Ramsbottom would most likely have turned down had she still been alive, but grief and sorrow had finally taken its toll. So yeah, that's pretty cool. That's actually a pretty interesting story, that one. And it, you know, to be honest, that's something that you would say could only happen in Australia. So that's pretty cool. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open up. So as I said to you, this guy is a 6% IPA. Let me just check that you're seeing this on the camera. It's got what is it? It has Pilsner and Carapils malts in it, and it's hopped with Elan Galaxy, of course, 2 quite well-known Australian hops. This one, and there you can see Miss Ramsbottom just with her gun there. The light's gone a bit crazy in this video, actually. But yeah, really nicely presented. It's the typical kind of artwork style that you're going to find from Amager. These guys produce some really nice artwork as well as some really awesome beers. And this one is best before 10 of 2017. So yeah, let's get this guy out then and we'll get on with the tasting. The typical Amager Bryghus bottle cap on this one, by the way. So yeah, let's get it out. Yeah, so as you can see, a nice smoky opening on this one. And I tell you something, when you open up, you really can smell some of these lovely fruits out of this beer. So yeah, as you can see, it's poured a really kind of bright golden yellow colour, this one. Absolutely lovely looking beer. It does look a bit like pineapple juice or something like that. There's a solid half finger of a frothy white head there. It is quite opaque. If I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see it really is pretty opaque. And I think it's fair to say that this one is definitely a nice sort of orangey, yellowy amber. There's a good bit of sediment just floating around in this one as well, actually, which looks quite nice. Some big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, but quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of that head there. So let's have a closer look at the aroma on this one then. So yeah, as you would kind of expect from these 2 hops, it's got quite a bit of tropical note to it. There's a bit of grapefruit, which of course comes from the Ella in this one, and you've got a bit of passion fruit, which comes more from the Galaxy, if I remember correctly. But you can get a wee bit of citrus in there too, and I think again, that's from the Galaxy. The Galaxy is more of a kind of hop-forward beer, if I remember rightly, whereas the Ella tends to be a little bit more floral and kind of spicy a little bit. And you can pick that up in this one. You really can get a good bit of floral character coming out of it. And it does smell, you know, it does have that kind of spicy element to it as well. There's an interesting kind of thing going on in this as well. It does almost smell like a little bit soapy or something. The malts in this one are coming out quite interesting, but the Australian and the New Zealand hops, of course, they're very, very different to the American ones, which of course probably are the most common hops in the craft beer market these days. And it really is just down to things like different water, you know, different minerals in the water, different soil, different nutrients in the soil, all of this kind of thing. So you get really different fruity characteristics from all of these different hops, but there's some really cool things coming out of Australia these days. But with this one, when you start to sugar it up, you've got a nice bready base to it. There's a bit of sweet kind of biscuity malt in there, maybe a wee tiny bit of caramel coming out, but mainly it's a kind of bready malt base with some kind of biscuity notes in there. As I said, there's a bit of grapefruit in there from the Ella, there's a bit of passion fruit too, some nice kind of citrus just underpinning that, and you've got some light kind of grassy and slightly floral things. The floral character in this one is quite light. It really is more of a kind of grassiness that's coming out from the hops as well. But overall, it smells like a really nice beer. So as I always say with the Amager beers, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma that you're going to get from these. The IPA, of course, is a style that these guys always do very, very well. So without further ado then, let's get stuck into this beer then. So this one is the Granny with a Gun, a collaboration brew between Amager Bryghus from Copenhagen in Denmark and Edge Brewing Project from Melbourne in Victoria in Australia. And we'll give a cheers to Mrs. Ramsbottom. Slàinte. Oh yeah. you know, another really solid IPA from Amager Bryghus. You wouldn't really expect anything else from these guys. It really is lovely. Yeah. It comes across in the flavour as being a lot stronger and a lot more kind of floral and things than you would actually expect. It really smells more grassy, but then when you actually get it in your mouth, it's definitely more floral and things. There's a lot of nice kind of dark fruit. It's big kind of, the grapefruit character really kind of comes out and underpins the fruity side of this beer, and there's a lot of quite dark floral aromaticity in this one. It's got a really nice dark, kind of almost dank floral character to it. But that's lovely. Certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this again, I'll say that straight up, but then, you know, as I say, Amager Bryghus are really gifted when it comes to this IPA style. And it's cool, of course, to see them do something a little bit different. Most of the beers I've tried from these guys have been American style IPAs. The Australian IPAs and the New Zealand IPAs, of course, are really quite different, and they've got a lot of interesting characters to them. So yeah, with this beer then, you've got a nice smooth malt base in the middle of this. You can feel the bready character just blanket in the middle of your tongue as soon as you take this beer in. As it progresses a little bit and as your mouth adjusts to it, you start to get more of a sweetness to this one. You start to get a bit of that biscuit, that kind of Carapils malt coming out of this beer, and you feel that sweetness, that biscuity, almost slightly corn syrupy flavour coming out of that kind of digestive biscuit flavour that you get from that Carapils malt. You can really feel that start to come out in this beer as you move into the aftertaste. The malt base, the sweetness from the malt base builds as you move into the aftertaste, but of course with the IPA that's not the focus of the flavour. The hops really dominate the flavour in this one. So yeah, it really is quite good. I'm actually getting a wee bit of earthiness in the back corner of my palate there. It's got this almost earthy character to it, which is quite interesting. I would love to try the Galaxy and the Ella hop in single IPAs. I think I had an Ella one when Brewdog still had the IPA's Dead series, but that was a long time ago, so I can't remember it exactly. But yeah, the fruity character and the hoppy side of things is where a lot of the complexity in this beer actually is. So as I say, there's a little bit of earthiness in the back corner of the palate, but as you come further forward you get this really dark, quite strong floral aromatic character, and it's actually quite spicy, and that's where a lot of this is actually one of the things that kind of aids in the earthiness. It might just be more of a kind of spicy floral aromaticity that's coming out of this beer actually, but it certainly is really, really good. As you go further around the front curve of the tongue too, it becomes a little bit more grassy. That dark floral aromaticity just lightens up a bit, and the spice just kind of starts to disappear. It's really quite spicy on the front corners of your palate, but then when you go behind that front curve of the tongue, that's where you'll get this oily bubble that just comes out and gives you a lot of the fruits. There's a good bit of grapefruit just underpinning that one. That of course is the Ella, but then you also start to get some of the passion fruit in there from the Galaxy. The Galaxy of course is, in a way it's kind of similar to what the Mosaic and the Citra do. It has those nice, lighter, more juicy tropical fruits, and that's what it does again in this beer. So you've got on top, just on top of that grapefruit, you're getting a little bit of passion fruit. There's maybe a little bit of a kind of peachy flavour in this one, or something like that, but you can feel these lighter, more juicy tropical fruit flavours just moving as you progress into the aftertaste, and it works really quite well. This whole beer just blends together very well, and what stands out about it to me, the thing that's really lingering in the flavour of this one, is the dark floral aromaticity and that slightly spicy character. That's just sitting there on the edge of the palate, just underpinning this whole beer. And the grapefruit flavours that you're getting from the Ella are very nice as well. They're lying there. It's really the Ella hop, I think, that is coming out and giving you a lot of the aftertaste in this beer. But overall, it certainly is very, very nice. I wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again. And of course, I would love to try some more Australian IPAs for you on the channel. And these Australian hops, they've got some really, really interesting flavours to them. So in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say This is probably mid-body. This, it actually feels a little bit heavier than it probably is, and that for me is down to the kind of abundance of floral aromaticity and spicy character that you have in this beer. It really is quite big on that. The carbonation is quite crisp. Again, that might be a little bit because of the spicy character that this beer has. The mouthfeel though, it is quite wet, it is quite drinkable. There's a little bit of oily character to it. The malts for me really are very smooth, but they do get a little bit sweeter as the flavour progresses, like I said. There's a good hoppy bitterness to this one. As I say, a bit of spice from the floral aromaticity, but really that's what's underpinning this one. And the fruitiness is interesting too. You've got some nice kind of quite dark grapefruit flavours, but then as the flavour progresses you get a bit of the lighter and juicier tropical fruit. I think it's passion fruit and a bit of peaches that are coming out of this one, but overall it's another very, very solid beer from Amager. And it's interesting, of course, to do another one of these Australian IPAs, because the hops, of course, are so different in character from the American hops that you're going to get. And if this is a kind of marker, if you like, for what Edge Brewing project can do, then I'm really interested to try some of their other beers and see how we get on. So hopefully I can get back to Australia sometime soon and review some more Aussie beers for you. I really would love to do that at some point, because the Australian beers that I tried were very, very good, and it's been a long time since I've been able to review any of them for you. So hopefully I can do that in the near future, and I hope you guys would enjoy that. But overall, when it comes to this beer, if you're interested in Australian hops, then you're certainly going to enjoy this one. You've got two breweries here who have quite a reputation in their respective countries, and the Granny with a Gun is a pretty damn good beer. With the rating of 94 that it has on Rate Beer, I think it deserves that. So if you get the chance, give it a go and see what you think. Some really interesting fruity character. I'd recommend this beer to you if you enjoy a big, dark, floral, aromatic beer. And if you like the grapefruit flavours as well, then this one is just going to be right up your street. So yeah, the Granny with a Gun from Amager Bryghus in Copenhagen in Denmark, and Edge Brewing Project from Melbourne in Victoria down in Australia. So yeah, really, really nice beer, fully deserving of that rating that it has on Rate Beer. If you like these flavours that I'm mentioning, you will enjoy this beer. So until the next time, it's Slange just now. Thank you for watching my beer reviews. Do let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the breweries in the comment section below. Always interesting to hear from you guys. Do let me know what beers I should try from Edge Brewing in the future when I make it back to Australia, and do recommend some other Amager beers for me as well. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. But as I say, thank you for watching. Do check out my social media until next time, and hopefully I can do more Australian beers for you in the fairly near future. I'm sure we'll return to Amager fairly soon though, but another cracking beer from their collaboration series. Until the next time, it's Slange just now, and I'll catch you very soon. The Granny with a Gun, an Australian IPA from Amager Bryghus in Copenhagen in Denmark. Skål!